Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video we'll be showcasing some of the best and most powerful interactions in Borderlands 3. These are combinations of skills, weapons or gear that are much more than the sum of their parts, providing unique ways to play, which often serve up a whole lot of damage. I'll be letting you know where you can find each piece of the puzzle, explain what they do and how each interaction works. And if you know of any other cool combinations like this, don't forget to let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, and hey, maybe you could even subscribe or follow me on Twitter. And let's crack into it. In no particular order, we open this countdown of the best mini builds in Borderlands 3 with invincibility through any splash damage shock weapon, and the Transformer, a unique shield which has an increased chance to drop from Queen Antoinette, who you fight way out here in the Splinterlands. If you're looking to become immortal, then you've found it right here, and it's all thanks to the Transformer and its unique effect. It provides you immunity from all forms of shock damage, and goes a step further by actually topping up your shield instead of taking it away. For that to work properly though, you'll need to deal purely shock damage. You can't have a siesta at the fiesta, so avoid anything that isn't electrically charged. Whenever your shield is running low, just fire any splash damage shock weapon at the ground and you'll be ready to rumble. Doing that constantly will make it literally impossible for you to die. Just walk around shooting everyone's toes and you might just outlive the Queen. What goes great with it is its high bullet absorption rate, which not only has it refilling your shields, but your ammo banks too, which you can use to your advantage. Its 40% chance to grant free ammo will see you become the vendor, with each shot gifting ammo back. If you're looking to reign supreme for centuries, then this is the combination you should look for. Moving on to ZANE'S Barrier and the Redistributor, an elemental Hyperion SMG that can only be obtained by defeating Wotan at the end of the Maliwan takedown. This combination was the first in the game to exclusively favour a single Vault Hunter, and it doesn't disappoint. The reason it is so deadly is thanks to ZANE'S Barrier providing him with amp damage. Every 7th shot from the Redistributor will be amped, dealing 120% more damage, and every amp shot will chain to a nearby enemy. Fire through ZANE'S Barrier and you'll be rewarded with amp shots, making every single shot chain. Every 7th shot will still be the one holding more power, but the fact that every shot will chain makes this an absolute mobbing machine. The speed at which you can fire, coupled with all those ricocheting rounds, have it chewing through health bars at breakneck speeds. Combine it with the Hustler class mod and you can increase the damage of the extra rounds, or you could even use the Seeing Dead to ensure your barrier never leaves your side. The more enemies there are on screen, the better this combination gets, and if you have the well-rounded augment, you'll be practically untouchable. Moving on to the Lucky 7 combined with some ammo regen, mainly a Terror build or a splash damage modes. It has an increased chance to drop from Scrap Trap Prime, who you fight out here in the Compactor as part of the Handsome Jackpot DLC, but also drops from the Skag of Survival on True Trial difficulty from the trial of the same name. The Lucky 7 is at first just a standard Jacob's pistol, that is until you reload and a bounty of riches is revealed. It's not called the Lucky 7 for nothing, as there's about a 30% chance for one of its 5 possible bonuses to be applied. Each bonus is not to be scoffed at, transforming it into a fully automatic elemental shotgun pistol that fires critical amp shots when you're lucky enough to get all 5. That is when this gun becomes insane, serving up some of the highest DPS numbers the game can ever see. For that to last, you need some ammo regen and some mag size boosts. For modes, redistribution and a multi-palleted splash damage roll will get you there, and for everyone else, an ammo regen Terror anointment on it and an apply Terror one on your shield should suffice. When you're all set, there is no denying the damage you can bring forth, absolutely decimating bosses and deleting mobs with small taps of the trigger. All that re-rolling will become incredibly rewarding, Just make sure you don't lose it by firing too much. Now it's time to release the melee dragon through the Stinger, Psycho Stabber, and Unleash the Dragon. You can only grab and unleash the dragon by defeating L Dragon Jr. around here in Jacob's Estate. The Psycho Stabber only drops from Borderlands around here in the Meridian Metroplex, and the Stinger is another exclusive piece of gear only dropping from Anathema and the Guardian Takedown. The tip of this trifecta is the artifact, which enables your stabby, slammy and slidey to ignite enemies, dealing heavy damage based on the initial hit. That initial hit can be your fist, a thrown fish, or the Nova of the Stinger. All of those damage sources count as melee and thus unleash the dragon. You'll want an action skill start Stinger to trigger Novas whenever you feel like it, and a fire one will deal the most damage. That damage is best boosted by the Psycho Stabber, which can raise your melee damage by up to 340%. A 150-90 anointment will increase your bossing potential. Next to Mag's Incendiary is good all round, and you can even try elemental crits to get the Psycho Stabber itself in on the action. Best rolls for the Unleash the Dragon is a boost to melee and incendiary, and a melee boost on your class mod will help things too. This focus set has massive mobbing and bossing potential across the Vault Hunters, although is highlighted on Amara. It burns through flesh incredibly quickly and makes short work of other health bars. The next mini build we'll be highlighting is the combination of a splash damage rad gun, an elemental projector artifact, and the red suit. You can pick up the artifact anywhere, but maybe try Azalea around here in Eden 6 for a victory rush, and the red suit only drops from Atomic around here in Necrotafeo. This combination is essentially immunity on steroids. The red suit will prevent you from taking all forms of radiation damage, but still apply a damage over time effect, proccing the elemental projector artifact, which will boost your damage with radiation weapons by 129%. It's another combination where you'll only want to be dealing damage in the one element, radiation, and consists of inflicting yourself with a radiation status effect before spreading the affliction to others. Generally, I use splash damage weapons to apply the dot, but you can overheat a pestilence before changing to the real damage dealer. This interaction in all its glory can be highlighted on Zane, who can abuse the explosivity of certain splash damage weapons through the Hustler class mod, majorly extending their splash radius and increasing their damage, with the elemental projector artifact forecasting even more mayhem. It's probably the closest you'll get to breaking the game, stepping up ridiculous amounts of damage, and can literally cause everyone within a mile radius to burst like a bubble. This interaction is a lot more tame on other Vault Hunters, but is still a great example of the power an elemental projector artifact can produce. Time now for the Ripper in combination with the Fish Slap grenade mod and the Stinger shield. The Ripper can come in any element and has an increased chance to drop from Shiv around here in Covenant Pass. The Fish Slap is exclusive to the Cartel event, dropping from Fish Slap and Tyrone Smallums, and the Stinger can only be obtained by defeating Anathema, the first boss of the Guardian Takedown. You may be thinking, what do all these items have in common? Well, it all comes back to the Ripper's unique effect, which causes enemies to take increased damage after you stab them. By increased, I mean doubled, which does wonders to raise its DPS. Now normally you need to shank your enemies for that to happen, but you can avoid that by figuratively penetrating them from a distance. That's where the Stinger and Fish Slap come in. Because the Stinger deals melee damage, any Nova Blast that shakes the socks off your enemies will be treated as though you stabbed them, transferring the Ripper's effect, allowing you to avoid its often slow stab animation altogether. You can tell enemies have been weakened by the red glow, which will cause you to rip into their health bars with twice the strength. An action skill start Stinger is what you'll want so you can constantly mark enemies and makes this build incredibly fun. The Fish Slap adds to the party by adding another avenue and even more range to the mix. Normally certain bosses would be impossible to mark, but you can do it with the Fish Slap, leaving you ripe and ready to chop through that health bar. This sweet little 3-piece is one of my favourites in the game, great for all vault hunters, and never fails to dish out some heavy damage. Next up is the Grease Trap coupled with ZANE'S clone. You can pick up a Grease Trap from the Cartel event by defeating the Roaster or Tenderizer in the overworld, or Joey and his underbosses while inside Villa Ultraviolet. The Grease Trap for the most part is your typical splash damage melee 1 blaster, firing incendiary orbs that burn through targets. However, its alternate mode will see you shower your enemies in extremely flammable mayonnaise. It's this mayonnaise that is in fact an instrument of damage, boosting the power of its primary mode immensely. All the constant switching to get that damage boost can make your thumb sore. If only we knew of someone that has holographic thumbs and doesn't feel pain. Well, we do. Using this in combination with ZANE'S clone will see you oil up your enemies before DigiU deep fries them. You'll need to pick up the Orange Tree Capstone double barrel to grant your clone a copy of it, and when you're working together it translates to a lot of damage. This is where the clone's peak power lies, proving that friendship is the most powerful force of all. We end this showcase of the best interactions and mini builds in Borderlands 3 with the Frozen Snowshoe and a Spark Plug artifact. The Frozen Snowshoe can only be obtained by defeating the Valkyrie squad during the Melee 1 takedown, and you can get a Spark Plug as a prefix on any base game artifact. This interaction is probably one of the strangest in the whole of Borderlands 3. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Who would have thought it would work? Well, it just does, and shout out to the guys in the comments that brought this to my attention. The Frozen Snowshoe combines the effects of the red card and Frozen Heart, causing any slide damage to drain all of your shields, and trigger a Nova which then tops up your health. Now normally you have to slide to trigger its effect, but it turns out the Spark Plug's coils count as slide damage and can summon Novas all by themselves. You'll want to pick up the Come On and Slam Guardian rank to slam at any height, and plant Nova coils to your heart's content. Now you can use this on all characters, but because your shield drains after the Nova is summoned, you need to wait until you get some charge in it before you can do it again. However, with modes you can equip a Bloodletter class mod to have shields behaving as health, and see each Nova refill your shields as soon as they're triggered, creating an endless cycle of damage. It will cause a hailstorm of cataclysmic proportions, covering the screen in ice cubes made for a giant. The Novas are extreme, crystallizing opponents across the other side of the map. For peak damage you want an area of effect roll on your artifact in either slot 2 or 3, which will also boost the Nova's radius. The power of each Nova is directly related to the size of your shield, so grabbing the Iron Bear Shield Anoint will massively increase its size, and Phalanx Doctrine will do the same whenever you kill an enemy. It's an absolutely crazy combination that might just be the answer to Pandora warming.